My name is Sean Keogh. I'm currently honored and privileged to serve as the state senator for Legislative District 1, which, as you know, is all of Boundary County and most of Bonner County. It's been really a public service for me, something that I have been honored to do, to be of service to this area. My assignments in the legislature are as chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, co-chairman of the Joint Finance and Appropriations Committee, which is where all the decisions on our state budget and our income tax, sales tax dollars are made at the state level. I'm also the senior member of the Transportation Committee. It's the work that I do for you that keeps me going forward and has brought me here to seek your support for re-election in this Republican primary. Being able to help the businesses of this area, whether it's cutting red tape for a small business that was having difficulty with the Division of Environmental Quality, whether it's gaining access on the highway through Idaho Transportation Department, whether it's working in the legislature on specific issues and pieces of legislation that are important to our area, all of those things come from the voters here in this district, and I'm proud to be representing you all there. If I am reelected, I would continue to be the chairman of the Budget Committee. And why is that important? It's important when we look for funding for the road project. In fact, just this weekend I was able to announce that we have not only secured funding for rebuilding South Hill from Alderson Lane towards town, but we've also been able to find $3 million more to build from the rest of that project down to the bridge right here, which, as you know, who travel it every day, is desperately needed. I've been able to help in funding and moving the projects forward on the North Hill, the junction of Highway 1 and 95, and many other road projects. I've also been able to secure more funding, more of our state tax dollars coming back to this area, to our local schools. I've been able to help boost career technical or vocational technical training at our high schools in this community through the FFA program. These are just a few of the things that I've been successful at working on your behalf. It would be my honor to secure your vote and your confidence and re-elect me on May 17th. Thank you. Sean Keogh, State Senate Republican.
Republican Central Committee for hosting this, and Tim Dillon in particular, and also Daryl Hoover. Kirby. I knew it was a vacuum name. My name's Glenn Rohr, and I'm a 22-year resident of Bonner County. I'm a retired plant manager, and I have a combined experience. I have combined 43 years of combined leadership and management experience in 5 different sectors: aerospace, transportation, military, construction, and government. But before I ask you to vote for me for this Senate seat, I want to tell you a little bit about my values. I'm a constitutional Republican. I will not vote for any piece of legislation that is not based from our Constitution and or is in conflict with it. I strongly support the Second Amendment. I joined the NRA in 1960. I've had 20 years of combat training and weapons that most people in this room have never even seen or heard of. And I've been certified by the sheriff to carry a firearm in Bonner County on search and rescue missions. I fully support the permitted campus carry bill that my opponent did not support, and I also fully supported the permitless carry bill that just recently passed. I'm a fiscally conservative Republican. I'm aware that our country's going broke, printing money that they don't have. We're going to, what, $20 trillion in debt? That's why I seriously object to our legislature passing a budget that is propped up with almost or over 30% federal funds. I'm a states' rights candidate. I strongly support the 10th Amendment, and I will do everything I can to protect our rights in this state and stop federal overreach. And regarding the lands, I would like them returned to the state. We as a state cannot be equal with other states until we're on an equal footing with them. And do you know how many acres and how much property the federal government owns? 80% of our forest land in Idaho, just our forest timber, is owned by the feds. And the Idaho Farm Bureau estimates there's 8.4 billion board feet of lumber there that dies annually that we get nothing out of. We do harvest about 4%. I support education. 2 of my daughters graduated from Priest River Lamana High School. I've never had an issue with a teacher or administrator in my life. And it's because I taught my children to respect teachers. We need to support our professional teaching staff and allow them to teach without the burden of federal Common Core regulations and control of testing. I also support a parent's right to control how their student receives his or her education, whether it be private school, charter school, vocational, technical, or homeschool. And finally, to the roads. We have heard a lot about what's happening on the roads up here, and it's election year and we should hear it. And it's good to have those things done. But it's not enough. To get business, no business is going to relocate to District 1 when we're on the list of the worst roads in the nation. And our paved roads, by the way, don't have bypass access. If you have an accident or a blockage on the road, as we did last week on Highway 95 near MacArthur Lake, we had thousands of cars backed up for 3 hours, and I know because I was there. In closing, I want to say that the U.S. government certified me as a cost schedule control manager for a multi-million-dollar part of a billion-dollar project, classified project, and I have testified before Congress on the status, milestones, and financial management of that project. I feel that makes me well qualified to run for this Senate seat. I've spent about the last 8 months walking around and talking to businesses in the district, and I have heard loud and clear their message. Get government off our back so we can be successful. And if you should vote for me and put me in office, that's exactly what I'll do for you. Vote May 17th for Glen Road.
And then Senator Keel can talk about what her position is.
Well, I support the bill because what the campus carry bill did was allow permitted, law-abiding citizens to carry their gun on campus like they would in anywhere else if they're permitted and law-abiding. I see that personally as one of the best things we can do to help ensure our children's protection. I know some people are afraid of guns, but guns in the right hand are what keep us safe. We wouldn't be here in a free nation if we didn't have guns in the right hand. So I see nothing wrong with that. I see it good. I'm not saying that every teacher should be armed in a classroom. Perhaps there's other ways, like putting guns in lockers. But I'm saying if you're a law-abiding citizen with a legal permit, you should be able to carry your gun across campus to go to the library or go somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. I voted against the campus carry bill because that law-abiding citizen that was walking across campus to the library might have inadvertently, without knowing, ended up in a zone where they weren't supposed to be. There is a patchwork on that campus depending upon a variety of factors, including whether you have the enhanced permit, a regular permit, no permit, whether the auditorium you're walking by holds 100 people, several hundred people versus 1,000 people. It was a patchwork, and it didn't do what it was promoted to do in that regard. I am a strong Second Amendment proponent. My scores from the National Rifle Association range in the A's and B's my entire legislative career. I vote for common sense gun regulation, the college campus carry bill was not common sense, in my view.